100%. Cheers.
Well, Bert is recovering from quadruple bypass. It's going to be a few weeks, but as he recovers, we have some great friends stopping in, and stopping with us right now is one of our absolute favorite comics. You can see his new special, Unconceivable, on his YouTube channel. It's Jim Norton, everybody.
Thank you, Tom. Oh, thank you for that applause.
Doesn't that feel good?
It feels good, even though I know that no matter who you introduced, that would happen. Joseph Goebbels, they would still do it. Yeah. But the fact that you said Jim Norton, they clapped. You're right. It taps into my need.
Speaking of Goebbels, man, it's a Hitler summer here. We are...
By that, you mean great.
I've been watching nothing but World War II docs, because sometimes you're like, I've seen it, and then a new one comes out, which I also am... I'm just fascinated, like, how many more docs can we do about Hitler? Like, you think it's covered, and they're like, no. There's a new 8-part series, but they're all fascinating.
I know. It's like, how many delicious flavors of ice cream can I have? There's a new one. The color footage of him is very crazy. Like, when you see footage of like behind the scenes Hitler, like when he was chatting with people and he was like doing his little friend, like the friendly, like, and smiling and laughing with locals. Like, oh God, it's the same guy.
Yeah, and it goes up to like when the youth kids are joining, and he shakes each one's hand and he taps their face like this, and he's like, "You're a good boy." And then he walks to the next one, and you're like, "Oh, he's like this affable guy that everyone." You're like, "How come we don't see more of this?" I'm tired of seeing
the negative spin.
Yeah, the angry grimace.
I read an article about a guy. He was a Jewish guy who lived. He was one of Hitler's neighbors, and I think he wrote a book, and it was when Hitler first came to power. And this guy was a very small kid. And he was one of the few people alive who'd had like a personal interaction with Hitler. But it was mostly just from seeing him as a neighbor. And then as the Third Reich got worse and worse, his father sent him away, and then his father luckily lived and met up with him. But as a kid, he said he would see Hitler around, and you could just start to feel the tone change, and the family got out of there.
The shift kind of happened. Yeah, it's like when a comic starts selling tickets. Like, something's going on.
Not the same guy.
It's not the same guy. Oh, there it is. Hitler, my neighbor.
Wow, he really is on the nose.
Right. Wow. You read this book?
No. Of course not. I read a brief summation of it.
Okay.
But I wanted to come off like I read it, but I literally just read like an article on the book.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. And especially to be like someone who was like, "Oh, you mean my neighbor?"
Yeah.
Like the guy that, I used to see him go for a stroll, get a coffee.
He'd wake me up with the fucking lawnmower. Yeah.
That's insane. But those docs are so fucking good, man.
They're
so good. And you also realize, especially because we have wars going on right now, that there will never be the type of war, like, even if there were World War III tomorrow, it wouldn't look like those wars. Like, with the way technology have evolved, this was like, the people were just like, I love my country, and I'm just going to battle. And it was just, it was like, get the gun, hang out in this burned out building. I just feel like now, we have drones and, fighter jets. It's a completely different thing.
It's impersonal. Like people would lie about their age just to go and fight. They love the country. And what they said that people miss when they see, especially like World War I documentaries, is they said the smell of shit on the battlefield. It smelled so much like human shit because people had to shit outdoors or in trenches, and that's the thing that doesn't translate when you watch it. But it really stunk, and I think of that now whenever I see it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this in this doc. This guy was I think he was a Brit. He was either British or American, and he was in the I didn't even some of these things remind you that like World War II extended into North Africa, which is something I think is lost on us a lot.
Yeah.
So there's this battle there. He gets captured. He's a POW. And he's like, we go on this like 1,000-mile drive in the back of trucks, standing, because it's all just packed.
Yeah.
And people just stood in shit and pit, like, they weren't going to stop for us. So we just stood there and shit.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Disgusting.
But you don't think of it when you watch it. You're like, wow, the trenches, look, people kind of glorify it. It's like, no, people were pissing and shitting in the corner. It's just, it's awful.
Vile and awful. Nothing worse.
What was that movie, 1916 or 1917?
17,
that they said that, I don't know if they cut it all, but they said it was all one shot. I'm sure they cut.
Yeah.
But it looks, that was a great movie.
Incredible movie. Incredible. Yeah, because that first sequence follows that one actor.
Yeah.
For like 25 minutes without seemingly a cut.
Yeah.
Like he just,
There's a moment where he'll run behind something.
Yes.
That's like a black screen for a half second. You're like, okay, they could have cut
they
there,
could've-
or
yes.
maybe
Yeah.
they can just do it now and make it look like they can't.
I think they can. Yeah. There's what was the show that came out? Every episode was like one shot. Adolescence? Is that
I
the
didn't
one?
see that. Is that a Netflix show?
Yes.
Is that the one where the kid was
Yes.
like whether he was a black kid but they made him a white kid for the show? Is that
Oh,
is that
I don't know. I don't know that part.
Maybe that's not the one. I'm thinking about one where there was a murder.
Yeah, this is the one.
Oh yeah, I think the only thing I know about is people were mad that they changed the race and made him a white kid. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's based on.
A black kid killing somebody, but they made him a white kid, and I don't know why or what the story really is.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Each episode is one continuous take, which is really, it's insane when you watch it. You're like, how are they going to do this? There are little things though where like, because they don't obviously cut every time. Like if we were talking and then you got up, the camera tracks you.
Yeah.
But like when you walk past the doorway, and you go like, you know what I mean? Like that moment where it's covering the door.
Yep.
Isn't a moment you can cut as well.
Absolutely, but you probably cut down on inconsistency. Like when you're editing a special and you go back and you realize like, oh fuck, that was from the Late Show, and I'm going from here to there, and it's like those are the things that are really hard about piecing something together.
Yeah, and then that's when you cut to the crouch side of the person going.
Yeah, I know. I hate.
I know.
Fucking I use them once in a while for the same reason everybody else uses them.
Yeah.
But Louis actually turned me off. Like we had talked years ago, and he's like, I just like it black. I don't want to see the audience. And I was like, yeah, he's kind of right. Like, who the fuck needs to see an Asian girl? I mean, they show an Asian girl laughing. That's like a Comedy Central thing.
The other one that somebody put in my head, I don't remember who it was, but ever since they said it, you can't stop thinking of it.
Yep.
Is when a comic walks out and there's like 2 minutes of applause, and you're like, if you know the person, you're a huge fan, sure, you go out. But like if you're just like, who is this? You're just gonna watch people clap. You're like, start talking.
Yeah.
Like cutting that down was something that somebody put in my head. Like, don't just sit there and have you walk out, wave, how's it going? Isn't this great to be here?
I know.
What's up, Phoenix?
What's up, Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Yeah.
But you're right. But that's more like for YouTube too. Like this one was done by the homeless pimp who's like, legendary.
Yes.
But he goes, no, just start with mid joke or a joke. Just you're on stage. There's no walk up. All right. No one cares. Get to it, stupid. And he was right.
No, I think that's a really cool move. That is like, just get to it. I just was watching somebody like a notable comic, and it was, I mean, borderline 3 minutes of walkout applause, looking around. Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to be in this city. More applause. And you're like, what are we doing here, man? Like, let's get to it.
Yeah, we don't need to see your victory lap before you've told one joke.
You haven't done anything
yet.
Yeah. You got to get to the joke. Where did you shoot Unconceivable?
Village Underground. I'm glad you said the name because this is true. I originally called it Domesticated Animals. And then someone told me, Brett Ernst has one called.
Yes.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb. I didn't Google it. So I immediately changed it. And Unconceivable, I figure, is pretty accurate, and it's a weird word, but I just keep forgetting what it's called. So I'm glad you said that. But I hate watching myself so much.
Oh, it's the worst.
Isn't it terrible?
It's the worst, and you can always tell who's a piece of shit if they like watching themselves. Like you can tell, dude. Like I remember being in a green room one time where we were having this type of conversation, and some comic was like, he just volunteered. Don't you just love watching clips of yourself? And I was like, what? Oof. And he was like, yeah, I just go home and I watch myself. And I go, you're a psychopath.
That's a sociopathic thing to do. And to not read that other people hate you for it.
And he was just lost,
Can you watch? I'll do it during an edit. Like again, it's still part of the thing. But like I know guys who can watch themselves in front of other people and like look for the and I'm like, whoa.
No, horrible.
Cringe.
My last special, I got the call after months. They go, hey, we're going to have to move your air date if you don't actually watch a cut. Because I kept going like, yeah, I'll get to it.
Oh, yeah.
And putting it off. And they were like, if you don't actually do that now, we're going to have to move the date. And I was like, all right. Because I hate that. And then you just go, look at my fucking my voice is weird. My
Yeah.
hands,
Yeah.
like
Nice blinking, nice
Yeah.
delivery, frog neck. Yeah, believe it. It's a real exercise in self-hatred.
Yes.
But I can do it just until it's done. But then once it's done, I'll never look at it again.
Never. The worst too is I remember one time I gotta actually now I know what to do, but I did a private for this corporate kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got there and I met one of the people, and my big mistake, I was like, yeah, I'm excited to do whatever, like what I'm on tour with now. And the guy was like, oh, no. Like he cited specific bits. I want to hear this and I want to hear this. And I was like, shit. And some of those at the time were like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years old. Literally, the bit, but I don't remember how it goes.
Sure.
Like the beats.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, thanks for telling me. And so I downloaded from albums, my bits. Because I was like, to like hear the rhythm and like, the words and how it goes. So I'm sitting there in my hotel room, like trying to like memorize, because some of it feels vaguely familiar, but you're like, I got to pause here. I know I'm not going to do it well. Anyway, I forget that I do that. And now those stand-up bits of mine are on my iPhone library. So if I have like a shuffle playing, sometime my own stand-up comes on. And I'll just drive into this pole. Yeah. I'm going to unbuckle. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple exactly on Spotify, the same thing. I'm such an idiot. I'm like, well, I might as well support my own work. Fucking eager dummy in his 50s trying to capture the internet. But watching, like, you forget how to get into something.
Yeah.
Like, I forget that, like, if I say this, but I forget the word that always springboarded me into it. Mm-hmm. So if I have to just do a bit from the atmosphere that I did 10 years ago, I'm fucking doomed. I can't remember how to get into it.
I don't know how to get into it either.
And I've never done it since it's been taped. I stopped doing it.
And as soon as I tape, I also let it go. I just go, that's done.
Yeah.
It's funny how one time a guy was like, do this bit. And I just was like, all right. And I started it and I was like 7 words in. I was like, I forget what's next. Yeah. And then like he starts doing the bit. Like he has it memorized better than I do.
Because there's only so much room in your head. Yeah. And it's like, but people who like will do something and they shoot it and it's been out there for a while and then you see them on the road 2 years later and they're doing the same thing. And it's like, how do you not hang yourself? How do you not want to kill yourself doing the same jokes?
It's funny because we have these conversations about this and it's like that guy though, that's doing that to, like, he also is the one who's like, I feel stuck in my career. Yeah. And you're like, well, yeah, you're not evolving at all.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Men today face immense pressures to perform, to provide, just to keep it all together. So it is absolutely no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it is often undiagnosed. If you're a man and you're feeling the weight of the world, talk to someone, anyone, a friend, a loved one, a therapist. It takes the weight of the world off your shoulders. I was just telling these guys, I woke up yesterday and Isla said my face looked weird because I was sick and my arm was swollen and I had dead arm in this arm because I slept on it and this hand was tight and I was just starting to spiral out. Leanne's like, what's the matter? And I told her and she goes, hey, it's your anxiety. Talk about it in therapy. And I did. I talked about it in therapy. But here's the great part is that I had recognized that this has happened to me before and I could identify what's happening with me and I could get through it and know this is going to go away. Everything's going to pass. If you're not in therapy, you should be. Here's the deal. With over 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally, and it works. With an app rating score of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client reviews. Here's the reason, the biggest reason you should do BetterHelp. It is convenient. You can join a session with your therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life so you look forward to it and you don't resent it. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/bears. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bears. Support for today's episode comes from Square, your all-in-one business partner making your day-to-day easier. From point-of-sale system and payments to inventory and customer tools, Square brings everything together in one simple platform. so you can stay organized, sell anywhere, and keep things moving. Whether you're running a cafe, salon, boutique, merch for tours, or something entirely your own, Square gives you the flexibility to grow at your own pace and even set up an online store in just a few clicks. And right now, listeners can get up to $200 off Square hardware when you sign up at square.com/go/bears. That's SQUARE.com/go/bears. Visit Square to get started because the right tools makes all the right difference. I've always been using Square, and I love how flexible it is. I mean, I've seen it work seamlessly for all kinds of businesses, but mostly for me on the road. It's amazing. And if you ever go to like a outdoor like flea market, you can see them people that sell art, weekend market stalls, food trucks, touring musicians use them, comedians use them. Square adjusts with what you need, and you can sell in person or online from one location. Listen, it helps you grow and adapts as your business grows. Square supports all major credit cards and payment methods, including contactless payment options like Apple Pay and Google Pay. Checkout is fast and easy for your customers. Square keeps up so you don't have to slow down. Get everything you need to run and grow your business without any long-term commitments. And why wait? Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/bears. That's SQUARE.com/GO/bears. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
And that's the beauty of it. Like I know, like I never feel stuck. Like I'm finished. And there's a big difference between being stuck and finished.
Yes.
I've accepted the peak in 2007 really did take a sharp nosedive. You have to accept where you're at.
No, well, but your stand-up, like I told you this when you were here last, like you are, one of the things I admire so much, I talk about this thing on stage even right now, is that like I learned that people, when you feel shame about anything, it grows in you and it stays, and it actually can become overwhelming when you don't share it with someone. And then you have this thing where it feels like, oh, well, you're so comfortable sharing what would be shameful, and therefore opening up about it. Like, was that something that you knew to do, or you just took a leap one day?
I don't remember. It would make the other comics laugh. Like in the early, like 1990, 91, at the open mics and like the Sheratons in New Jersey, like the other comics responded to us. So I was like, all right, this feels kind of good to make those guys
laugh. And
because they're hard to get respect from, you know. And it just felt good to get it out. Like I always feel like the reaction is strong when people connect with it.
Yes.
And it felt like now that I've said it, it's not a painful thing that I'm trying to hide anymore.
Exactly, right.
And again, in 2003, when there was a show in Montreal called it was like the Confessing It. Mm-hmm. So I started confessing things I had never talked about.
Right. Was that scary?
Yes and no. I had joked about it a little bit, but like I did a bit. One of them was about fucking a transsexual in a car. It was a true story. I mean, I gave her a young lady a ride, and and I think even at that point I was still lying and pretending I didn't know. Yeah. But there was one other thing I knew. I could tell from across the street. Someone told me I have the eye. I could literally spot it from Google Earth.
Really?
They transition.
Yep.
And there was one other thing, but it feels great to just spit it out because, like, what are you going to do? I don't care if people like it. Once you've said it and you put it in their face, I don't care how they react to it.
But that's like, and I feel like that perspective is like an earned thing. Like some people go, I don't care. You're like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yours feels genuine, but you also have this resume of being like, yeah, I let it out. I shared the thing.
Well, I've also had enough time. Like, I care about it being funny. I definitely care about that. Like, I don't want to. Someone just standing up there blathering out childhood trauma. It's like, big deal. Anyone could do that.
You have to, have the jokes.
Make it funny. It's like otherwise you're just a fucking asshole doing a TED talk. Like, do that, but don't tell yourself you're a comic.
The crazy. There's a few that are like doing that, and they're doing very well. And I'm
like, she is.
You're just giving your speech.
Yeah,
it's very strange,
and it's easy to do. But as years have gone on, especially from radio, like I've gotten enough emails and contacts from people who go like, I'm so glad you talked about that because I had that or I was ashamed of that. So that's when you start to realize like, yeah, I don't care if people don't like this because enough people, they'll never go out and tell the world, hey, I feel good that he said that because it made me feel better.
Right.
But they've told
told
me.
you.
Yeah.
And that does feel good.
It feels great.
Are there any, because you've been so open about kinks, are there kinks that you were once like, wow, this is something, and now you're like, that's so boring? Like, do you evolve past the kinks?
Kind of a little bit, yeah, because what felt taboo, like being a cuck, I always liked being a cuck. I thought it was so dirty and taboo.
Yeah.
But now I'm married, and it's like, no, I don't want her fucking somebody and then spit in my mouth. Nah, I don't want that. I wouldn't like that. Brush your teeth, you blew the Uber driver.
Did you like the cuck play, role play, like, or like those scenarios where like, the big stud comes in? Is that kind of thing, or just any guy?
Yeah, it could just be a guy with a bigger dick than mine. Like there was but it was some kind of a humiliation thing, and it would be the tethering. Somebody is like mentally tethering you along. Like I was talking.
The mental of it is so important.
It's everything.
And you learn, I feel like, as I've gotten older, that when you're like 16, you're just like, this woman's beautiful. Like if she's hot, that's what you want. And then as you get older, you're like, oh, it's all in like the attitude and the way someone speaks and like how they're, they could be objectively a 6 or whatever, but like something about them, you're like, no, she's a 10 because of the way she carries herself.
She communicates, trigger words. It's anticipation and like whether they know, like there are some people in life, like one of my exes was a great dirty talker, and we would talk dirty and she was talking about fucking other guys. And she just knew where I wanted her to go without me saying it. And like when people do that, it's like that's against like you're just following, but they're like breadcrumbing all this perversion in front of you without you setting it up.
Yes.
It's like setting up your own surprise party. It's just not the same.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've got like the cuck stuff. I'll still watch it online, but it's like, I don't want to see that in real life. I've gotten more like less needing that stuff because I'm only having sex with one person. So you come back a little bit, the tide comes back in a little bit.
Yeah, and it's still fulfilling enough, still thrilling enough.
I mean, let's be honest, married. No, it is, because none of it is worth wrecking the marriage for.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, like, I was so attracted to my wife. If I all of a sudden don't want to be sexual with her anymore, then something is really wrong with me, because I'll meet other people I'm attracted to, but I'll never meet anyone who has more of an effect on me at one point than she did. So I'm like, then I know it's just my addictive thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
you have a lot of awareness though about it.
Yeah, because I've done everything wrong you can do, or most things wrong. So it's like, I've destroyed relationships. I've gotten caught. I've fucking cheated.
What's the most? Have you ever had a thing where you're like, you're alone, like you're not, but you feel like the most degenerate, like you're just like, this is like, I feel like I went crazy.
A lot of times when I would go out with a girl and I knew I could fuck her, but instead I would avoid the sex just to go home and jerk off thinking about what the sex would have been like.
Wow. That's a fascinating one.
That's a perversion. And it's also, then you realize it's not about sex. I didn't care about it's dopamine and it's keeping the high going.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you have a joint, instead of just sitting there and smoking the joint, you take one hit, stop for an hour, take one hit, stop. You're just making it last, making it last, making it last. That's what that was.
Wow.
Like once I had sex with someone,
it just
you're back.
Yeah.
Here's the world. Here's life.
So let me extend.
Yeah. So I would do that a lot. Like I would go out I've had a lot of experiences, even with prostitutes. I would like see somebody and hook up and then not come. So much of it was the ritual of riding around looking. They had to approach the right side of my car. It was all this bizarre stuff that was just part of a get high.
So all that, because all that is a dopamine release.
Yeah, it's such a good feeling too.
But it's such a fascinating thing that I don't even think a lot of people even grasp entirely what you're saying. Because what you're saying is that, we get dopamine from our brains from like either achieving things or doing pleasure-seeking things, but there's this thing that happens automatically that like if you hit something, you get a threshold, the dopamine levels will go down. So you need to basically either, if it's a dopamine drip from challenging behavior, you need to make the challenge higher.
Yeah.
And if it's from like pleasure, you need to up the whole experience, to make the thrill higher. So like you're getting dopamine from even the pursuit, right? The pursuit and like looking for someone. All this is tied together. It all kind of gives you the dopamine.
Yeah, and Mike Tyson had a great term for it, which he said he got from a therapist, and I believe it was baseline normal. Like the things you have to do, okay, just to feel normal. Like without the dopamine, without that rush, I felt like below zero. Like I was in a pit. So like I had to do a lot of things, tweedle the nipples, text somebody, just pervert. And then all of a sudden, okay, I'm good.
I feel normal.
I'm regular.
Yeah.
And then it starts going up. So it's like a Facebook or Twitter. Whenever you see the little red thing, bing, bing, it's the same kind of a feeling of that little bing, that little message, that little, oh, my view count is good. It's all the same thing. And I hate myself for at times still requiring that.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking weakling.
Yeah. Somebody said too that like they realized that when you see a selfie posted from someone, like just, hey, it's a selfie, that is a clear need for that affirmation from people, and like once you get that thought in your head, you're like, oh yeah, then you see the selfie, you're like, this person needs approval right here. And then if you take your own selfie, you're like, what am I, a fucking needy bitch right now?
Yeah, I really am. I'm as big of a weasel as that person who I just criticized. And you notice it in opinions too. People who are like, and again, I don't mean don't post opinions. It's like a big conversation, great. Yeah. But people who are obsessive, it's almost like I'll play this game with myself where somebody who I really annoys me, I'll go to their Twitter just to see, I bet you they're talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's I don't hate watch a series, but I do that almost, it's like going to the fucking gym mentally. I'm like, am I right or am I being a prejudging asshole?
Yep.
And a lot of times I'm right. I'm like, yeah, you're right. They are obsessive dummies. So I kind of catch, I don't want to be that, so I try not to do that.
I know this, I try to do it less too. There's a few people who message me all the time who go, why haven't you spoken out yet about, like Palestine, Israel? I'm like, huh? Why haven't I? That's what you're looking for? Yeah. You're like, if once you, Tom, speak out, then we'll find the resolution. Like, I don't need to. I mean,
no, and it's also what they're doing is so self-serving. Yeah. There's a really weird parasitic nature of people needing, because they don't care about you or what you think. They want to go, all right, Tom's going to say something. If he says the right thing, it validates me. I agree. I feel strength. Yes. And if you say something wrong, well, fuck him. There's the dopamine rush of getting angry. Yes. But it's all parasitic. It's all them somehow taking something from your opinion. It's total bullshit. They don't care about what you think.
No. And they want to just, whatever your opinion is, then they get to go, oh, you're in this like they want to categorize you, like I always think of this, it's always pops in my head that one time I went to a gun range and it was like so fun. They train people how to shoot, for the movies there. Yeah. And so like they were filming and posting videos, and I posted one of these videos, and so funny to see people go, didn't know you were into this, understand and unfollowed. And you're like, what? Yeah. Because of what? Oh, because there's a gun at a gun range, like where you're supposed to shoot them. But that person felt like, oh, I know who you are now. Yeah,
like, and they're dumb. They're really stupid. Yeah, and I don't ever care if they unfollow me or they're mad about it.
No, it's like, actually good when you go, great. Happy to lose you.
I'm happy you're gone. Yeah. Because it's a level of stupidity. And it's like this really weird thing. It's like a terrible weakness masquerading as strength, where people are going around and it's like, they think that they're telling such truths. Yeah. But what they're also doing is making everyone who agrees with them already happy. Yeah. Like they act like I'm just pissing them off, but it's like, hey, you forget the other 50%, dummy, is you're entertaining and getting the approval of people who are already agreeing with you.
And that's what you want. You want to serve that master. Right. You want people to go like, you did the right thing. The amount of people who like, that's their currency is like, I said something that I know someone else will applaud me for. You're like, you're pretty lost.
They want some zilch to go, good on you.
Good on you.
Good on you, which I loathe. It's good for you. Not good on you.
It's a real old-timey way of doing it.
I hate it. And I hate, by the way, when the fucking Brits say, I went to hospital. Yes. You went to the hospital. Yes. It drives me crazy, and I don't understand why they removed the word the. I went to prom. A lot of people say that.
What about maths?
Which one?
Maths.
Maths?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Really?
People say maths?
Brits. Oh. Yeah. When I was taking maths
That's very irritating.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm actually going over to London, and now it's going to bother me.
Oh yeah, if you can find that for sure. That yeah, why do they do that? I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, but he was in hospital.
In the UK, maths is the common term for the subject, where we use math. The difference is a minor point of distinction. No, it's not. Reflecting a difference in how the plural noun mathematics is abbreviated in the dialect. Yeah, it's like, I was doing my maths, and you're like, no.
And what they're forgetting is, and it's a major issue, you're right, because TH and S, nobody likes a TH followed by... It's a hard sound. It's unpleasant.
It is. It's gross.
You ever see Orson Welles when he's doing that read for peas, and he goes, "It's not pleasant to say. It's not fun to say."
You've seen his when he's pilled out of his mind, doing the French champagne has always been known for its excellence.
Oh, Paul Masson, was it Paul Masson?
Yes, Paul Masson. Yeah, dude, he's absolutely fucking plastered. What there is a French champagne known as...
Turn camera.
He doesn't do anything?
102,
That's how he
take one.
starts this?
Action Orson, please.
Action Orson.
Just do anything?
No, sorry, cut. You're rolling. 102, take 2.
These poor people.
I know.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by
Oh,
Paul
my God.
Masson.
And by the way, the guy and the woman with him,
Inspired
they're doing a scene with Orson
by
Welles.
that same
And they're
French
looking at it probably like,
excellence.
he's
It's
fucked, he's
fermented
pilled out of
in
his
the
head.
bottle and like
He's
the
bombing.
best French champagne. It's vintage, dated.
And they're also
Paul
terrified.
Masson.
Terrified, because he was a guy like,
Why don't you
there's
take
audio
3?
of him doing those things. One was for Mrs. Somebody's Pete, and he still sounds good.
Yeah.
Like he's still Orson Welles.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you listen to him doing that and he's snapping at the engineer, it just doesn't feel good. And crisp crumb coating, he was doing one for. And he was very intimidating, and he would really upset these people because
Sure.
he would snap quickly.
They're so scared.
They're terrified.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy who they say makes the greatest film ever made. So it's Orson, you know.
Yeah, so in other words, I'd start half a second late.
Don't you think you really want to say July over the snow? Isn't that the fun of it?
If you can make it almost when that shot disappears.
A snow-covered field and say every July peas grow there. We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. We aren't even in the fields, you see. We're talking about them growing, and she's picked them. What? I don't understand you. Then what must be over for July?
When we get out of that snowy field.
When I was out, we were on to a can of peas, a big dish of peas when I said in July.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, always.
Just snapping at the engineer.
Yeah.
Unhappy with the way the camera was being, like, you know.
You've heard the Shatner one?
I don't know.
William Shatner is doing a read, and it's clearly like a sound engineer who he does overstep for a moment where he's like, hey, maybe like intonate, maybe go up at the end or something, and he's like, what's that? And he's like, you know, like when you read it, like,
Yeah.
he gives him like a little direction.
Ooh.
And then William Shatner is like, okay. And he goes, no, I'm going to do it just the way you said it. And the guy's like, no, I'm sorry. He's like, no. And he does like a shit read.
Was it Oldman who wound up? Oh, no, it was Christian Bale, where he yells at the person who walked in his sight line.
Yes.
And technically he's right. It's like, how dumb, because he keeps going, you're a rank amateur, fucking amateur. But it's like the guy was an idiot to not know that he's doing a scene, and he should have handled it better.
He should have handled it better, but it is kind of the thing where you're like, if you're trying to like, you're in this like scene and you're really prepared and it's emotional, and then like people like, because when we were shooting this thing, if you hear like hammering or something, you're like, dude, I can't fucking do this. Like,
Yeah.
right? That's why you like stop the work. You like let the thing happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, did he lose his shit? Yeah.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I kind of get it.
Yeah, I do too. And people were like, oh, how terrible is he? But it just made me love his work more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, he really cares about getting there properly.
Or like when Cruise lost his shit on his crew when
COVID?
during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, well, yeah. I mean, he's like, this whole fucking thing can get shut down if you fucks break the rules, you know?
He did say one thing that then like there's always that one thing they do. You're like, where he said something about like we're saving Hollywood. Like he made some comment thinking
yeah.
like you didn't have to say that. You
Yeah.
could have just kept doing what you were. But yeah, he was technically right to be pissed off.
He was very pissed.
Yeah. And what are you gonna say? It's Tom Cruise, and he's also the guy who he hung off the side of the Burj Khalifa. He jumps off planes, like he does his own shit. There's nothing you can say about him.
He's unbelievable, man.
Have you met him?
I've never met him.
No, me neither.
I've never met him. Everybody who I know several people who have, and they all say that it is like when you talk to him, you're the only person in the world.
Yeah.
And he's like all on you and very engaged. A lot of times if he knows he's gonna meet you, he's fully briefed on you.
Yeah.
So he knows like all these, he'll reference things and you're like, oh shit. Like he'll know your whole background.
The guys who are the most captivating and charismatic, they said Bill Clinton would do that. They understand that the thing that makes a person like you is when they think you like them, or when they feel like you're entertained by them, or they're entertained by you. So like I realize that I look at people in my life who I really like. I'm like, I make that guy laugh a lot, so I really like him.
Yeah.
Like he makes me feel good about myself. He doesn't just entertain me. He makes me feel like I'm entertaining him.
Isn't that a fucked up thing to learn?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I'm
Yeah.
just like an insecure,
Yeah.
empty man. Like, oh, you laugh? All right, cool. What's up, man? You want to go out?
Yeah. You can go. Hey, you can come to my house and fuck my sister.
As long as you get a giggle out of it. Is this it?
Yeah, this is it.
Okay.
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay?
So he's like,
Can there be a little more excitement in the beginning?
I love it. Okay. All right.
It sounded like really laid, really super laid back.
Well, I'm saying, okay, I'll try and do that. Let's do take two.
that laugh too.
This is
like,
William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. Speak up. And maybe you better do it the way you hear it. Do it for me. No, I mean, just go ahead.
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear.
Yeah, so he's like that. He actually is doing a direct mimic read of that guy, and it's so bad. And it's clearly like that guy, he overstepped.
He did a little bit, yeah. There's certain guys you can't. It's a director can give certain notes, but certain acting notes, like for me, I would take the note because I stink. But there are guys who are so good at what they do. They're like, you're telling me how to do a line.
Yeah,
You're fucking crazy,
Like crazy.
And they're right. Usually the guys are. But again, a lot of actors will give you a couple of different takes and say, which one do you like?
Yeah.
And those are the ones that people tend to like working with. But yeah, that to give Shatner an acting note and a voiceover.
This is William Shatner. And if you, like, you're like, bro.
He's saying the whole thing is a fuck you to the engineer.
Yep.
And it's humiliating.
Yeah, it's humiliating. And that guy's just like, I'm so sorry I spoke. Please do what you, and he's like, no. You said it, so I'll do it like, and then that guy's like, am I going to lose my job? Like, yeah.
And William Shatner hates you.
Yeah, hates you so much.
I like him. I've interviewed him a few times, and I was on a plane and I saw him, and we were going. It was a layover from Tampa to Philadelphia, and I said hello to him when the plane landed, and he recognized me and he was very friendly, and the pilot even came out to meet him because he found out Shatner. And it was so funny watching him blow off the pilot.
Really?
Like the pilot was like, "Hey, one time we met," and Shatner goes, "Yes, it was very nice," and just walks off. I was like, "Oh, you poor bastard!" It was a big moment.
It was a big moment.
Reconnect with Bill.
Who's like? Do you have? Because you interviewed a lot of people. Do you have like your all-time favorite like thing where you're like, this was like my, somebody you can't believe you got the opportunity to interview?
Ozzy, obviously, because I was such a fan.
Yeah.
Trump a year and a half ago for UFC was a big one. It wasn't like a life's goal, but it was, in hindsight, it was a huge moment. Even
what
at that
was
moment.
your take on him?
We didn't talk politics. It was for UFC, so it was only fighting, because Dana loves him, and he was very important to the early UFC, giving them a home.
Yeah.
My take from it was that he has a great memory. Like, we talked boxing and we talked MMA for about 40 minutes, and he remembered everything. People thought we had cue cards set up for him. And it was an absolutely non-political conversation about the old days and the fights and what he felt about this and how this happened. And the memory was really good. So my take was, like, he, love him or hate him, his brain is working. And he's got a great memory.
I feel like when I was a kid, you know, you would always see these big, like, Tyson fights at, like, Trump Taj Mahal, or, like, right? Like, wasn't Trump always in some way involved with some of these big boxing events, like in the 80s and stuff?
Yeah, he was. I think Foreman Michael Moore, if I remember. I don't even remember. Like, I did all this research and now I forget it, and he remembers it from 30 years ago. But yeah, he was involved with a lot of those huge fights, and a lot of them were. Was it Taj Mahal was one, I think, where a lot of them, I think that's Atlantic City.
I think so, yeah.
You know who was a fascinating guy to talk to? He just died. Was I forget his name? It was oh my God, Cliff. He was Clint something. He was the Secret Service agent in the Kennedy assassination, who was Jackie's Secret Service. What's his name? Oh, Clint Hill. Yeah, and he was the one who was behind the limo when Kennedy got shot. He's the guy who runs behind the limo and hops up on the back of Kennedy's car as it speeds off to Parkland.
Wow.
And he was describing looking in and seeing the inside of the president's head, and he knew that he was dead. It's like that. Wow. That was a fascinating guy to talk to.
Yeah. Did he have takes, you know, because there's so many theories on the assassination?
He said he shot him. He said, I finished him off in the car.
This prick.
Yeah, that good head of hair. No, it was. He said he heard the bullet behind him. He said he heard it. He said I was there and I heard the bullet coming from. You know, I didn't get too crazy detail with him because it's almost like asking Buzz Aldrin, another fun guy who I've interviewed, who's also very cranky, snapped at me.
Yeah,
fucking Buzz is, you know, he does not suffer fools.
Yeah.
And I asked him a question. He goes, let's not dilly dally. I've got to get to CNN. He was really shitty. Yeah. But he walked on the moon, so I took it in the fucking face. I took it like a trooper.
Yeah.
But these guys, sometimes I don't want to go too far. It's like asking Buzz about the moon landing. Like, it's real. Like, I didn't want to ask him stupid conspiracy questions.
Yeah.
For him, it's like, yeah, of course it happened. It was behind me and I heard it.
Of course. Well, like, it's like every year now there's like more, like, the further you get away from it, people have new theories. And
I know.
They're like, oh, there's 4 shooters and all this. And I remember I was talking to this emergency room doctor, and he's like, anybody who thinks that because of the trajectory of that the bullets had to be multiple people has not been in an emergency room. He goes, when you see what bullets do, one bullet does to some people, where it enters here and it fucking moves around.
Right.
And like, he's like, it totally opens your mind as to like what one shot can do to someone.
Yeah.
Like, they literally turn all over the body.
And I still love JFK. It's a great movie. And I do like that Oliver Stone, I think all the parts he was speculating about were in black and white. I think that was the device he used to show you this is something that, like, I think, and not other than Mr. X, the Sutherland part, which was, I think, 2 people put together. But it's still a great film. I don't care if it's right or wrong. I still enjoy watching it.
Yeah. I mean, I actually feel like even when I don't know, I'm not convinced by someone's I mean, conspiracy theories can sometimes just be very entertaining.
Yes. And when people, I don't mind people, like, I used to be a very big believer that it was a conspiracy. And I think it was Vincent Bugliosi I interviewed, where he had a book come out and he called in, so I read his book. And he was very, very much Warren Commission. He believed that it was Oswald and that was it. And I was like, oh yeah, I kind of think he's right. Like, so I don't get married to the idea of one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem, is people get married to it. Like, it doesn't, who gives a fuck? Yeah. Whatever the truth is, I'd like to know it.
When you get too married to it, that's when you realize this is like you're in a bad place when you go, I'm more interested in being right than I am in learning what the truth is. Then you've kind of lost your way.
Yeah. It's like, it's in an argument with your spouse, it's acceptable.
Yes.
I mean, that's exactly why I'm a shit partner.
Yeah.
Because I have to be right.
Right.
But yeah, when you start getting into that in life, that's when, like, people are like, just shut up.
Yeah.
We heard you. You've been heard.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to just tell people that you've been heard.
Everyone's heard you.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah, it didn't have the effect you wanted. It didn't move us like you thought. We don't look to you as a thought leader. You're not a voice of the generation, but you've been heard.
I do think it was hilarious that with the what's that guy? He's like the deputy chief of the FBI now, and he's like a
Cash
huge,
Patel?
No, Cash is the actual director, But the deputy, that guy, Dan Bongino or Bongino,
Bongiono or something.
yeah, that guy who was like a huge right-wing conspiracy guy and was like, fueling all these types of things, is in this interview like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, Epstein killed himself.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like, and you're like, this is the same guy who would be like, it's impossible. The cameras were all like, and now he's like, listen, I looked it over. He killed himself.
But which means either A, people would say he's been compromised,
Yes.
or B, you could go like, oh, he actually did see all of the legit information that he knows is legit.
Yeah.
I always thought he hung himself. But the two cameras being out is very suspect. You can't ignore that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I always felt that he was worth $600 million, and now he's in a roach-infested place, and he's going to go to jail for life as a. So there's a good reason to hang yourself.
There's a good reason to hang yourself.
Sure.
There's also, you look at behaviors, right? Like a few days before he died, he went through the actual process of transferring all of his immense finances to his brother. And it's like, well, what mind space are you in when you go, hey, why don't you put everything in his name? Well, because you think maybe I want to die.
Yeah. Or he was also probably worried about lawsuits after too. Like he knew that the civil suits were coming.
Sure.
But I mean, that was a guy, there's certain things that like if they were going to kill you before you gave out information, they wouldn't have left him alive that long.
Yeah.
They probably would have killed him outside of a jail. They would have just picked him off somewhere. Because if they can pull it off in a jail, they can kill you somewhere else.
Yeah.
They can get to you. There was another guy in France who committed suicide, but I think he'd been in jail for a year. I'm like, they don't leave you in jail for a year.
If they want you.
Yeah, or Oswald. He was interrogated before he got shot.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they picked him up and he died on the way to the police station. Then you go, maybe.
Yeah.
But he was interrogated and he was in custody for a short period of time.
Yeah, it is pretty late. Let's say he transferred his, $577 million 2 days before his death to his brother. Trust named the 1953 Trust.
So he might have known what was about to happen, but he had great reason to kill himself. I mean, he knew he was finished.
Yeah.
He was in France too, I think. And there was so much speculation at the beginning. Did Ghislaine help the state? Because then there was the speculation that she was the one who got him to come back.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, no, everything's okay. And then he gets arrested. He might have thought, oh, if they have her, I'm dead. So but again, then they wound up going after her. So.
Yeah. And also it's like, every week it feels like they go, you're going to see this list now.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't understand.
I don't either. The only people there's been people that I heard they protected who had legitimate business dealings with him, who had nothing to do with any of the sexual stuff that they kept private because the name association would have ruined their lives, but they legitimately weren't involved with that stuff.
Sure.
But then there's other people you're like, maybe they're...
Right, because he had to have obviously some legit business things going on, right? Like, there was one guy that the way that Epstein made a huge amount of his money was he managed the money of a multi-billionaire, and then when that guy became aware of his first scandal, is when he's like, I don't want my money with this guy. He took it away from him.
Oh, not Lex Wessler, right? Who was the guy who? Lex Wessler was the guy from. He owned a bunch of. I would say he owned a bunch of stores, but I realized I couldn't have sounded stupider. But he's like a guy who owned
massive shareholder, right? Like
something, yeah.
It could have been. I don't remember exactly who it was, but this really well-known business guy was like, he was like managing my money. And then that first case, like this is before everything, the earlier one, and he
Florida,
was like, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with this guy." And so that guy was like, "I don't want to be associated with this fucking guy."
Yeah,
which is legit, right?
Yeah, of course. But that's why they kept some of those names off. But I would like to. We'd all like to see it. It's just curious.
Of course, yeah. We all want to see the super famous people that are on
is
the
there
list.
anyone left? Because they said there was all this video, and then we've seen nothing. Then you realize how much these people just talk. How much people in public life, government officials, how many of them are easily influenced by what somebody else says, and then they turned out not to know what the fuck they were talking about.
They don't know what they're talking about.
No.
Yeah. I think our illusion is that we always think that the well-known are going to have like some special level of knowledge and know things and are going to say, but they're all just regular people. They're
regular people, and they're as prone to being reactionary and stupid as we are. I never care about the opinions politically of people who are whether they're arguing Israel. I just don't care.
I don't care.
I don't give a fuck what they think. It doesn't sway me at all.
No.
It's boring.
I mean, and also it's like, okay, high profile names. I think we knew almost all of these, right?
Spacey, Naomi Campbell. Oh, Prince Andrew.
Yeah, that was
Randy Andy. What a naughty boy. Never seen you ever see a guy like, here's his problem with Prince Andrew. He's a guy who is so rich and so coddled that people would always go, yes, Your Majesty, yes. And he had no idea what a bad liar he was.
Right.
He never had to truly lie his way out of something because he would go, I didn't knock the lamp over. And people would go, of course you didn't, Your Majesty.
Yeah, yes.
He never had to really connive and lie his way out of a ticket.
Yeah.
So he thought he was a better bullshitter than he was.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
That's such a good observation.
I was watching him, the awful explanations he was giving. And by Emily Mateus, I think it was, did an amazing interview with him. She was such a fucking sniper, right?
Yeah.
Like luring him in. He thought he did well.
Yeah.
He thought he killed it on that interview.
Yeah. That's the big one he did.
That was the big one, something was called Nightline or something. And, but you realize this guy, for him to believe that he did well, is such a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, totally delusional.
It's like a guy coming off stage and going, fuck, they're hot.
It's like,
and it's like
shooting fish in a barrel. And you're like... I had a guy one time did that. He walked off and we were like, whew. And he was like, killed him. And you're like, what?
You killed the mood.
Yeah, you just ate shit, bro.
I've had like 4 bomb sets in a row, maybe 5 even, at the Comedy Store. I'm just working. You ever have something just go, like, I don't know what it is, but there's something I'm not believing it. There's something I've been doing last week or so where I have just been eating shit halfway through and on, and I got to change up the order just to make it fresh again.
The order can make a big difference. I mean, I told this story a few times about how one of the hardest I ever fucking bombed, and it felt like it was a 6-hour set. I was supposed to do 25 minutes in I was the middle, and it was the summer of Katrina. And
2005, right?
Yeah, 2005. And there was reports that week that some people were actually, forcing themselves sexually upon people.
Yeah.
In the aftermath.
Yeah. In the dome. In
the dome,
the
and also
yeah.
they were like in the city. This was happening, but there was also reports of like, obviously like corpses floating by.
Yeah.
So I thought a clever opener would be my observation that, like, nothing gets my dick harder than a bloated carcass floating by. Makes me want to fuck somebody too. And this is like a sold out show. Everybody was like, huh? And then I didn't realize that I didn't have the skill set to recover from that. Like,
yes.
I was like, I'm going to pivot now, right? And they were like, no, you're not. So it was, I had hair and it was flop sweat. Like, it was stuck to the side of my face, pouring sweat. I ate shit so bad that, like, there's a hierarchy in stand-up.
Yeah.
The MC was like, how about that fucking douchebag? Right? And I was like, yo, like, you're the MC, dude. He was like, you suck, dude.
By the way, I concur with your opinion that it was a great opener. That's hilarious.
I thought I was like, that's, the kind of, you're trying to convey like what you think is funny. I think this is funny. The crazy thing was, I get off stage. First of all, the club owner comes up to me and she's the manager. She goes, I thought you were supposed to be funny. And I was like, oh. And then she goes, can you also not add? And I go, what? And she goes, what does that say? Because there was a count up clock. And I bailed at like 22 or 20. I was supposed to do 25. And she goes, do 25, dumbass. And I was like, right, sorry. Second show, sold out. Every show was packed show.
Do you remember who the headliner was?
Yeah, it was Bert. Bert took me.
Okay.
It was one of our first, it was our first road gig together.
Oh, okay.
It's a packed show. I mean, it's paper. Don't think he was
of
selling
course. I understood.
So it was 05.
Tickets, yeah.
But it was like packed second show. You could hear it bustling. And I do that thing where you go like, don't be a pussy, right? Like, go for it again. So I do the exact same opener. Dude, I think I eat shit harder. It's like, it is worse. And it was the first time, because somebody had asked me, they go, have you ever had moments where you're like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And I remember that was one of the first times I was in my hotel that night, and I was like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yeah, sometimes it hits you so hard. It rattles you beyond like, wow, that sucked. Or, oh man, I got to work that out. It's like, wow, I'm a fraud. I'm wearing a costume.
And I
have to molt out of this.
I was like, I talked to Christina that night. She was like, how was the show? I was like, yeah, they're a little tight. I was trying to like, I wasn't confessing the full story. I was like, hey, yeah, that's kind of a weak, soft crowd. You know? And then that was Friday night. And then Saturday night, we have 2 more. And I still remember Bert coming up to me. And he goes, can I just give you one thought? And I go, yeah, sure, what? He goes, just open differently. Do anything else you want to do, but just open on a different joke. And I was like, all right. And I went up there and I opened differently. And it was like such redemption. I had like a gangbuster set.
Yeah.
Like one of those like, holy shit, you killed. Where like the MC was like, God damn. He was like, you really turned things around. I was like, yeah, I just didn't do my corpse thing.
Sure.
And
it's a tough one if you don't know how to pivot. That's a great way you said that. Yeah. If you can pivot from a bomb, but when you don't know how to pivot,
you don't know how.
That's a giant hole to dig.
Because I was too inexperienced.
Yeah.
It's like now I feel like I could probably say even worse things.
Sure.
And be like, well, I have the skill set to recover.
Yeah.
I know how to zig and zag and kind of recover. But that's one of those things you can't manufacture.
No.
The skill set.
No, you have to. And a lot of times, I've certainly had those moments. I just go down the toilet. I'll tell the audience, like, that they're right, and I see it too. I know what that just happened. We all know it. Sometimes bringing them in, and they're like, all right, at least he's being honest with us, and we know that he knows what he's doing up there.
Yeah.
But when you plow ahead, like, that went as planned.
Yeah.
That whole never let him see you sweat, like that doesn't work.
No,
in that
that's
situation.
because it's dishonest.
It's
and
dishonest.
They know. All of a sudden, they go, this guy he's not real.
Yeah.
He's not in the room with us.
Yeah, exactly. He's sweating and we see it, and he's pretending that we don't.
I mean, I've had even on this tour now, though, sometimes you're like, I'm just going to open with like a local observation.
Sure.
You just you say it and you're like pausing for the laugh and everyone's just like, is that the observation? And you're like, yeah, so, I just got back from a trip. I'm going to switch to the act.
Yeah, I figured I'd go off book for a second.
Yeah,
and the director went, no. Could you say it the way it's written?
Could you please just stick to the script?
Yeah, sure. No, I was just trying to.
I just improv a little. Pretty good at it.
It's easier now than it used to be because if it's at least if it's your crowd, they are there. They know you're funny and you can acknowledge it and move forward.
Yeah.
But sometimes still, if I in the cellar or somewhere where they're not there to see me, they don't. Half of them are fucking NYU students. They have no idea who I am, and it gets ugly.
Yeah, I love the practice of doing. Like when I go to LA, because I go to LA more. That's what I love about the OR is that like on the OR, if you walk in, there might be on any given night, maybe 20 of them are super stoked that I'm there.
Yeah,
and maybe 140 are super stoked that other comics are there and don't care. So then you're like, oh, like it is. You still have to like. Yeah, the joke's got to be there.
Yeah, right? It's a great test because they're not going to give me the we like you so we're with you.
Yeah, no,
this is just what it is.
Yes, yeah.
Seinfeld would say that like because he would go on at the cellar. He goes the first 5 minutes like when you're on his level they'll give you the first 5 minutes because they're happy you're there. But then it has to be good or you're gonna tank.
Yeah,
I know I saw Robin Williams tank in that room. It was never an aggressive tank where they were like fuck you. It was never like that. But it was almost like they would at one point stop laughing and wait for a joke that they liked.
Yeah.
That's the difference between being that guy and somebody else is like that you can still bomb, but they're not as mad at you.
Yeah, the bombing looks differently.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like actually one of the worst feeling is if you go to a club and you get like a crazy ovation in walking out. Oh. And then it's flat your whole set, and you're like, "What was that?
Why did you do that?" And I always go with no intro whatsoever. I never want an intro. I despise credits.
You don't want one of the best comedians working today.
I mean, just to say he's been seen on it humiliates me.
It's humiliating.
Or the worst is they would go, "We got a special guest," and it's like, "What are you doing?
Who?
There's no special guest.
Yeah,
I was scheduled to be here."
What did I have? One time I was in New York, and Chappelle and Rock were doing one of those joint shows.
Yeah.
But like at a 500-seater. And they go, we have not them, but whoever was like up there was like, we have a special guest. And I was like, you realize they were like, oh, is it fucking Jon
Eddie
Stewart
Murphy
or something, you know? And then when they said me, you could tell people were like, what? They were not excited at all.
No, the worst is when the special guest, they go, woo, and then it's a tepid applause.
Yeah,
like,
they're like,
oh,
this guy? Oh.
Somebody must know who he is. Yeah.
Oh. Can you just bring Dave and Rock out? And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you don't ever want to be, as a special guest, you don't want to be smaller than the people they're expecting.
way smaller.
That's a humiliation.
Yeah, it was such a human. They were like, "Oh, is fucking Cosby here?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It was a bummer, dude.
Yeah, they do it at the cellar once in a while, but I tell every host, like, no intro, no. 'Cause I don't use my own name there. So I used to get death threats from it happened years ago from the radio show. I started using fake names. And I didn't want them people hassling the club.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like calling the club, see my
Yeah.
name, just being dicks. And it just kind of stuck. So I use always fake names when I'm
On
working
the set
there.
list, like I'm on who's going to be there.
On the outside,
Yeah.
yeah. And except for the Wednesday night show I do, then it's my own name. But it was just at one point to stop the club for being hassled. And I had a couple of real fucking weirdos.
Do you ever miss kind of the chaos of the morning?
Oh my
radio
God, Opie and
show?
Anthony show, of course.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing ever. I loved, because it was no pressure. I would just show up.
Yeah.
And be funny. Like, and Anthony would be funny and just hang out with comedians. It was fucking great, dude. It was, yeah, I miss it a lot. I mean, there was a time capsule, and I'm happy that I didn't sabotage it.
Yeah.
Like, when things in life end, right? I go, it sucks that it ended, but I know that I showed up for it. I was really present when I loved it.
Yeah.
And I didn't blow it.
Yeah.
So that's how I live with it. Like, knowing I didn't. It's like if a relationship ends because someone gets killed in an accident, that sucks. But it's a lot easier than you drunk driving and killing them.
Yes.
Because then you're like, why did I do that?
Do you are you having fun with the podcast though? Jim Norton Can't Save You?
Thank you. Yes, love it. And I really do love it. Like, it's mine, and I can talk to whoever I want. And
Yeah.
it's been very fun. We use callers because I still like that live interaction.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of like having that. And I had Anthony on again recently. And I've had some great guests. It's fun. I hate saying it's fun, but I mean, it is. I just enjoy doing it.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, man. I never had a radio job, but like 15 years I've been doing podcasts now.
Yeah.
And it is fun because you just get to go like, who do you want to have on and then have a conversation? It's like, it is still like the best thing.
The only thing that misses, again, the live interaction I liked because you know that a lot of people are hearing you. So any mistake is everyone's hearing it. Or there is that one thing about being live where I know that they're hearing it now. I don't know. I just explained what live means to a comedian. Fucking idiot.
No, I know exactly, but I know
No,
exactly.
I know, but the
what you
nerve
mean.
of me to explain that to you. You do arenas, and I'm talking. The microphone will convey. Shut up, Jim.
Yeah. No, there's that. You're right though, because with the podcast, you always have that thing where you're like, hey, cut that out.
Yeah.
Don't use that. Don't show that. Whatever. And
Right.
like, you're more naked on the morning radio.
You have a dump button, but that was only for like things that would get you sued for slander or a last name. Somebody would call up, yeah, my girlfriend. They'd give her name, and it's like, nah, drop that out because we don't know if he's lying or not, or we're gonna get fucking sued for putting it out there. But that's the only difference. Is that you would dump something out of necessity, or if it was a word that was gonna get you fired. Somebody dropped an N-bomb or whatever. At one point, no one cared. But yeah, I miss doing that. I love that show so much.
It's interesting to me too that like I really commend you guys that you were part of the circle of Patrice's circle, of friends. That like when he died, and I saw in the years after the first year, second year, they're like, oh, we're doing this fundraiser, this thing for Patrice for his family or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, you can kind of tell someone's impact by how long they keep doing that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like there's people you're like, yeah, we'll do that once. And like I feel like the fact that you guys have just done it every year, that you guys have been really committed to like keeping that going.
I did. I think I did the first 10. And
That's
the reason
pretty wild.
I'll do them once in a while now, but it's almost like you want people to come see them. You don't want them to see the same acts.
Right.
Which I'm really annoyed that I did the first 10 because I've often thought if I died, fucking Patrice would have done one.
Yeah.
He would have done the first year and he wouldn't have been happy.
Yeah.
He would never be talking about me in interviews a decade later. Oh, like I'm so much nicer to his memory than he would be.
Right. I think all you guys are like really, like you really have upheld that,
I just found a video. I just found this where we did a film called Furry Vengeance, which was a classic with Brendan Fraser and Brooke Shields, and Patrice and I played construction workers, and he was so miserable and difficult on that shoot. He was very funny. And there's a scene where we have to dance at the end. It's just as the credits are rolling, it's one of those, we had to do a dance to, I think, a Cypress Hill song. And it's something that's very humiliating to have to like dance to. But again, it was part of the thing. It wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
And I had video of us rehearsing, and he was just so miserable and it's such a Patrice, not really wanting to commit to it and just being annoyed. And there was no audience watching. It was just me, him, and one of the other actors. So I'm really glad I have that. Like,
cool.
I really did love him, and he really was as funny as people think he was.
Yeah.
But he was also, I think, a nicer guy than people think he was. Like, towards the end of his life, he started apologizing to people for things he had done that he felt like negatively affected them. He felt bad.
Really?
Yeah. He started to feel bad about stuff. He hit 40. And I remember he called me one time. We were just, whatever we were talking about, and he goes, man, I feel irrelevant. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I feel like I'm irrelevant, completely irrelevant. Like, it was just, he was the same as any other comic. He would have his great moments and his like, fuck, I'm a piece of shit moments. And I think he apologized to Jeff Garland for the way he was to him on Tough Crowd. And there was a few other people that he started feeling guilty. And it was because one of the things was he had done a project. And there was one guy on the set being a fucking douchebag, but it was Patrice's project. And Patrice goes, am I that guy on somebody else's thing? And he goes, I never want to be that guy again on somebody else's project, because now I see how upsetting it is when someone, you know what I mean? So, you know, he was a more self-aware person than people might. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. Those dumb hats. Oh, I mean, none of us are proud of that moment.
Yeah. Well, that face he just made it didn't seem like he wanted to be doing it.
No, but that little move they were just doing there, that was, I can't.
Furry Vengeance.
I've never seen the whole movie.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You got a big smile on your face.
I did, yeah. I mean, I knew I was on camera. I just was happy to be there. You know? At least Patrice had the integrity to go, this sucks. I remember we had the same manager at the time, and I remember he was being such a ball buster to the director in front of the other, like he was just so dismissed. He was like, he was at the table. Yeah. And I was like, dude, you're going to get us fucking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're going to get fired. I called my manager. I'm like, you tell him this, you know, they're going to can him. I'm glad we did that though. It was just so
there we
awful.
Go. More dancing.
Yeah. Yeah. None of us were really proud to.
Wriggle.
Yeah. That's the part I wish I had just in the barrel. No,
we're going to put this barrel on you again.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I'm glad I have that footage though. There was just us in a room. So it's like those little dumb things you have with your friends.
How long has it been done?
2011, I think. Wow. And I've been thinking about him a lot lately because I did Ari Shafir's podcast a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the Brazil trips. And so he said, hey, you have any pictures? So I was going through a lot of my Brazil photos with him and with Keith Robinson and Bobby Kelly and Voss. So yeah, I was just going through all that
Brazil,
stuff.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go back. We went 3 times. This was around 2003 and 4. Radio was over at that point. We had gotten fired, so we were off the air for 2 years. So yeah, we were going down there and going to the whorehouses, and it was fun.
What's the best whore place?
I only you mean like in the world?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that to me was not one of them, because I prefer English speakers, because again, the communication is sexy. I don't want someone who's just going to go, here you go, and then fuck. Like, I like someone who can talk dirty. New York or LA for me has been the best.
Wow.
Because there's the most people to choose from.
Oh.
Amsterdam, I didn't do it when I was there. I was like, really? I looked there. I think I went into one, but it might have been in Antwerp, Belgium. There was another place, and I kind of just did it to do it.
Yeah.
But I kind of like when the person, you get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
Over time.
Have a little rapport going.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that a lot. New York's for me the best.
Well, there you go. New York, man. They really do have everything.
Yeah. City that never sleeps.
Be sure to check out Jim's new special, Unconceivable. It is out right now on his YouTube channel. Make sure you listen to Jim Norton Can't Save You, the podcast, and see him on tour. Are you on tour right now?
I am on tour. I got to change my tour name. By the way, I've said this about you too. The best tour name is I'm Coming Everywhere. I was jealous I didn't think of that. But my tour picture is an abomination. I'm just an egg-headed fat fuck. Now you know, with a suit. I should have been shot for that. But I needed something. So I have to change the name of it.
Okay. But you can get tickets to see Jim is at jimnorton.com.
JimNorton.com, yeah.
JimNorton.com. All right. Thank you for coming, Jim.
I love you, man. Thanks,
love
Tom.
you too. All right. Bye, guys.
Bert and Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call 2 bears, 1 cave.